Greetings! Welcome to Nina's World. This podcast provides a short respite from the trials and tribulations of everyday life. We're going to step back in time to the 1950s and 60s. And now, our story. Nina does homework. How do you spell delicious? From September to June, almost every night during the week was dedicated to completing homework assignments. And if Nina and her siblings weren't also doing homework after school, they were practicing their musical instruments or doing chores. Nina's job was to set the table before dinner. Each night, she tried a different strategy to streamline the process. One night she would take the plates from the counter, walk around the table, leaving one at each spot as she announced the name of the person who would be assigned to sit there. Then Nina did the same with knives, forks, cups. The following evening, she would do it a different way. Nina's mom prepared the food, meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. After grace was said, the platters of food would be passed to the left, each child taking a portion. Conversation was lively, and it was possible to be involved with more than one at a time. School events, plans for the weekend, or neighborhood gossip were the most common topics. The 10-foot by 5-foot dining room table with an oval of linoleum as the table topper would be cleaned of dinner dishes. It was washed with minimal groaning because it was just easier to get it done. Just do it. Pass grousing and collect $200. Well, no one was collecting any money for doing a household chore, but they also weren't getting in trouble for not doing it. Everyone was a member of the household, and just like Nina, everyone had a chore. Older siblings opened school bags and stacked thick books, one on top of the other, opened their notebooks in front of them. Nina didn't have textbooks that had to be carried back and forth. She did have a mimeograph paper with math problems, or a page ripped from her large math book. Because it was Tuesday, she had to write her spelling words 5 times each and write a sentence for each word. Nina, being Nina, always tried to think of a sentence in which she could insert more than one spelling word to save time and lead in her number 2 pencil. 3 of my spelling words are butter, ladder, and dinner. Her teacher had told her to rewrite those sentences because she wanted Nina to show that she knew the meanings of the words. Picky, picky, picky. It was good to sit at the table with her siblings, watching them read the assignments, flip pages of the textbook back and forth, write a response using cursive in their black marble-backed notebooks. Nina learned to print in 1st and 2nd grade, but wanted to learn big girl handwriting too. Nina thought there was something elegant about the letters that would reach up in flowing loops or bow down below the line before moving on to the next letter. Practicing individual letters was a matter of self-discipline. Putting them together to make words required careful concentration. Well, frankly, neither of which were hallmarks of Nina's natural inclinations. Tonight, Nina was determined to write sentences Mrs. Wagner would not only approve of, but maybe even read to the entire class as examples of exceptionally excellent work. She completed her math problems and turned that sheet over. Instead of writing, butter is kept in the refrigerator, she wanted to write, delicious butter comes from the milk of happy cows. Nina called to her mom, who was bathing the baby in the kitchen sink. Hey, Mom, how do you spell delicious? The same way everyone spells it, if they spell it correctly. Yeah, I know. The first letter is D, but what comes after that? What are the other letters? Look it up in the dictionary. How can I look it up in the dictionary if I don't know how to spell it? Sound it out, Nina. Sound it out. Oh, darn. Nina thought about it. The first two letters were probably D and E, then maybe L, but D, L. What vowel made that sound? Maybe E or I? Nina felt annoyed. She wanted to write a special sentence. Why couldn't her mom just tell her how to spell the big word? Sometimes spelling didn't even make sense to Nina. She wondered why food and good didn't rhyme. And what was up with night? No one said good night. When the teacher explained a rule of spelling like when two vowels go walking, the first does the talking, she always added that there were exceptions. Oh my. Homework done. The older girls packed up their books. Nina picked up the dictionary that had been in the middle of the table. Rosa pulled it closer because it was rather large. She said to Nina, Mrs. Wagner told you that the words in a dictionary are alphabetical. You know, apple begins with A. A is at the beginning of the alphabet, so that comes towards the beginning of the dictionary. Zebra ends with Z. That comes towards the end of the alphabet. So if you want to look that up, you have to look at the back of the dictionary. When you want to spell a word, start with the first sound. You said the beginning letters of delicious were D, then E, and you were right. Where should you open the dictionary? The front, the middle, or the end? So it went with Rosa and Nina's older sisters, teaching Nina how to use a dictionary. Not everything she would need to know, but a way to begin. Mrs. Wagner, Nina's second grade teacher, had done the same. Sarah asked Nina to suggest a word and told her to watch as she looked it up in the dictionary. Teresa told her that opening a dictionary was like opening a treasure chest full of wonderful pearls of knowledge. With the help of her sisters and deciding to use less beguiling words, Nina finished her homework and placed her papers near the front door so she wouldn't have to look around for them in the morning. It was good to have it done. Homework was tiring. The television was not on during the week. When homework was completed, Nina and her siblings would read a library book until it was time for bed, or maybe sometimes once in a while play checkers. Sometimes Nina's older sisters read to the younger girls, and sometimes the middle girls, where Nina was, would read to the youngest girls. Well, that didn't happen too often during the week because Nina's youngest sisters were probably already asleep in bed. Nina wiggled and squiggled and nestled between two of her older sisters as they sat on the couch. Even if they were reading silently, she would pester them to read aloud because Nina loved stories and Nina could be a pest. What does that say? Read that page. Who's that? What's that picture? Nina settled in, slightly impatient and a lot sleepy at the time. Her sisters began to read aloud. Nina could feel the rhythm of the words as she rested her head on her sister's arm, thought how listening to her older sisters read stories to her, yawn, was just like eyes getting heavy. Yes, just like a slice of heaven. The end. Thank you for visiting with us today. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this podcast and share it with everyone you know. Return next week for another story from Nina's World. This story was written and read by Christine McKee, with gratitude to Dr. Ethel Ratkin of Bucks County Community College for editorial consultation and encouragement. Additional heartfelt support from family, friends, and members of my writing groups. Technical support was provided by Mr. Dan Tarrant of Personally Catholic. Sound engineering by Mr. Andrew Kimmel of AK Productions. May you embrace peace in your heart, in your home, and in your world.